is the marksman instead.
All right.
For Nxpe Evos, a Leslie. How is this?
It's a little bit more steady in terms of the damage, but what they're chasing really is the true damage plus the crit from the enhanced basic attacks, and that's what they're thinking is going to be enough to melt the glue, and at the same time just annoy the 1-1.
But they're compromising tempo.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Like I honestly, when Blacklist knocks on your door, I'm not sure if Nxpe was going to be ready to answer.
And it happens again on the second phase. Fredrin on the last pick for Blacklist. And if you guys talking about how being safe the Leslie was for Nxpe Evos, are they thinking about being having damage in range?
Oh, what if they just draft the floor in on here?
What's Goyoung gonna play? What's Yue gonna play?
Oh, there it is. It is a savior.
All right, there you go.
Okay, right on the books. We have now a savior for Yue. We'll have the comfort picks as well for this mid laner up against this Nxpe Evos. Let's see what's available for the Neon Tigers to take for a jungler pick.
Akai, honestly. It's not the Akai.
And it was banned in game number 2.
Yeah. But then there's so many things they have to consider.
The world is Boyet's oyster right now.
Yeah. Tanks a lot if they feel like they're lacking a bit on the damage, but they should be fine. Oh, they go Hayabusa.
Okay. A lot of things are open.
So the plan is to just really mess up Owl, huh?
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. Owl and Yue.
Yeah, that's the play here, because you don't really see Hayabusas get picked up against Fredrins often for a good reason.
Yeah. Unless your plan is to not get into him at all.
It's like,
nope. Hey, yo, I heard Fredrin was in the jungle. I'm not going to the jungle,
I'm not going
man.
there. I'm in the gold lane. I'm in the mid lane. I'm getting kills.
Especially in the early game with the Hayabusa, this really entails a question for us three right now on the desk on how will this work.
It's like it's not exactly like a Selena and Cho.
Nope.
But the Leslie and Hayabusa you do think of as just like kills.
That's right. Yes.
Kills.
Right, straight up. But again, there's the whole dynamic of see value in me. Yamete.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, no, I don't want that. Like,
I've never heard that voice line.
between Fredrin and Hayabusa don't want none.
Yeah, no one. You're not going to go anywhere near the
Not
jungle.
at all.
No.
One little taunt, one little knockup will mess up the Hayabusa.
You are down.
Can't escape with a shadow kill. So that's one way to put it in a voiceover. Thank you so much, Leo, for doing that.
Yeah, no, because again, Hayabusa has been changed to speak Japanese now, right? Most skins will speak Japanese. And look at this, Nxpe Evos starting up strong. This is how game 1 looked like. Game 1 looked like mid-aggression for Nxpe Evos.
Yeah. Split and kill. Mid-aggression, split and kill. That's Nxpe Evos again. It's like they've taken the core, one of the core ideas of the draft of game number 2 and just adjusted it a little bit for game number 3.
Okay, so we see how they could evolve from game number 1. So let's see how will they make it through this. With early game pokes, Boyet.
Look, man, he's struggling. He's struggling right now. His jungle's getting invaded. And
This is exactly the voice lines. This is what's happening. He's like, Wise knows he is the alpha in the situation.
See value in me? Yeah, man.
Right?
I gotta change the language settings in my game.
Yeah, I will too. Like after this match, I would. So now for this time, so we see how Nxpe Evos rotates in 3 and aiding a Boyet because we thought about, oh, look at this.
Oh, Goyoung in trouble. Forced to use the flicker. There's the pull. Yue gets the kill. This early on. Plans not going as planned for Nxpe Evos.
Yeah, that was a miscalculation by Nxpe Evos. They had the info that the members of Blacklist were coming to the mid lane, that they were still got out of position, a little bit too out of under turret. How and why did that happen is this question that'll be stuck in my head for a while now.
This might not be a good time to over or underestimate the possibilities of hesitating on who's going to strike first. Because if you're in the early game danger, Nxpe Evos, they might want to respect it.
Oh, up top. This seems to be part of the plan, right? We talked about how much pressure Nxpe Evos would be putting on Owl, but just the same, they traded the opportunity to do that for a turtle, putting Blacklist ahead by about 400, 500 gold, 2 minutes, 30 seconds in.
Yeah, that Leslie has a really quick power spike. Don't underestimate it!
In comes Ding, stunning Yue. He gets away, though, spending his flicker.
I'm waiting to see the big team fights. If Nxpe Evos will actually be able to handle the 1-1. Juan glowing this season. Of course, top banned hero in MPL Philippines Season 11. And the times we've seen her, she doesn't have a perfect record, but it's almost there.
Depends on who has it,
Yeah.
whose player has it. And because you're talking about how Leslie could have a good power spike early game, maybe that's one thing. Because we were talking about, we might see Nxpe Evos aiding the gold lane now. It seems like the con here is being with Boyet most of the time that Blacklist could take advantage of.
Yeah, we aren't seeing a lot of ganks just yet, though.
There's a Mystic Field set in. Brusco and Goyong pushing away Wise. I wonder if they saw V. This is a great angle for the pull. Here comes Wise with the knock-up and the taunt. V threatening a pull. Brusco stands his ground.
Okay, so the Mystic Field has been coming up big right now for Blacklist International, especially Yue. The sequence earlier where they landed that first kill. Nxpe Evos were caught out by a Mystic Field. There's a good rotation by Blacklist up top, 3 versus 2. But with the turtle close to spawning and Owl having to go back, they go downwards now.
Oh no, Boyet gets caught out. The Queen and the King forces out a shadow from Boyet. He's not making the most of this Master Assassin emblem. It's so hard to be Boyet right now.
Yeah, high and dry right now. You would be rocking if somebody's alone in the camp of Blacklist. But as rotating in 3 and 2, that makes you a bit of a problem to deal with your damage. So now pressure's on top lane. Owl has been receiving good pokes. Yep. The Leslie.
Oh, here comes Boyet. Pull in the shadow kill on the Owl. Oh, quad shadow out. Mission unsuccessful for this Hayabusa.
Yeah, that's the game plan here. And knowing that they do have a Fredrin jungle, Blacklist send Wise alone, and that he'll have advantage there. Let's see if Boyd will be able to get there in time, because Wise and Edward might be able to secure their second turtle of the game for Blacklist.
Oh, in comes a Brusco, serving up the kill. Wise does get the turtle, but Owl goes down. I wonder if Nxpe Evos can capitalize. V very low, does not have a cult altar. Here comes Edward from the side. An angle found. Split, grab. Brusco gets a pass. Yue blasting him. Puts up a wall. No Mystic Field just yet. Oh, there's a dawning light thrown down bottom, trying to clear that wave away from Ding. Nxpe Evos owning the lower half of the map.
Talking about gold lane pressure and advantage, that's just Nxpe Evos. Leslie, you're right, Redmar. It's this power spike that we're dealing about with Doming.
Yeah, once he gets that Berserker's Fury, it is on for a Leslie. And right now, Edward gets caught out.
Here we go. He still wants more. Here comes Wise and the taunt, forcing out a shadow kill from Boyet. Deals a lot of damage, but not quite enough to force back Blacklist International. Oh, because of this, Nxpe Evos able to get, what, a 700 gold lead? Ding still alive? Wise and Edward get their man. Down goes Ding.
What a pull.
Meanwhile, here up top is a 3 versus 2.
Oh, Doming just wailing away at this top lane. Tier 1. No one home. The pull from Oh My Venus. Not going to happen. Just like that, Nxpe Evos making moves. They've pushed 2 tier 1s.
Yeah, maybe that's what they're going for, the advantage, is the push. Yeah. Because in terms of team fights right now, they're giving way for Boy to cross the bridge.
Yeah, the perfect condition for Nxpe Evos was if they also got turtles, but we did mention earlier that we might not see contests from Nxpe Evos, considering it's a Hayabusa versus Fredrin. So this is the next best condition for Nxpe Evos. Win the side lanes, and they did just that. They built a good lead for their marksman. Domeng is too painful right now for Al to handle.
Pop in the shadow kill. So far, it's working out for Boyet despite picking a Hayabusa into a Fredrin. Down bottom, Ding gets grabbed right into the clutches of Yue and Wise. Not very long for the world. This Arlott still vengeancing on throughout, surviving for 2 seconds more. That Appraiser's Wrath taking down Ding. And now up top, it's Owl taking hits from Doming. V blocks that last shot. And they're taking their time. Look at that bush. There's a lot in there. It's Brusco and Boyet. They know V is recalling back. They give over that last turtle. Boyet and Doming just keeping up the farm.
I really thought Nxpe Evos would force the issue there up top, knowing that Edward and Wise were securing the turtle together. I'd like to see Nxpe Evos, if they really want to win this game, they need to be more assertive. And if they have the information, if it's only Owl and Oh My Venus in lane, maybe Yue nearby, but you already have Yue check, you know Edward and Wise are far, they have enough room to try and blow out all their ultimates, try to get a pick off, maybe convert into a turret. If not, then they back off.
Okay. maybe right now they're trying to hesitate on some points if they can actually have an advantage on damage. And just Blacklist capitalizing on these mistakes is working well on trapping them in tight corners, just like this, in contesting objectives, because Nxpe didn't have any turtle off this game, and probably investing on damage for Doming and Ding as well.
Yeah, and then I guess in the grander scheme of things, that means Boyet will play cleanup. Boyet will essentially finish off those that Doming put down very low. And so far, I'm on board. I think that works.
Yeah.
It checks out.
They just shouldn't hesitate with pulling the trigger on that. They can. The game isn't so far that Blacklist will be able to sustain through a lot of things. If they decide to pull that play, they can. It's a sure 1 or 2 kills for Nxpe EVOS. They just really shouldn't hesitate to do that.
Oh,
it sort of feels like they're also overthinking that they're up against a Faramis. That's why they're so cautious.
That too.
Well, instead of being cautious heading into mid game, if you're a Faramis, that is the best way of enjoying your ultimates in region for your team. Is that of a way of becoming a bomb again?
Oh
see,
my
look
goodness.
at that!
Doming in the middle of 3. Oh my Venus threatening the pull. The Queen will not take down the head of state of Doming Nation. Turtle spawns. Rather Lord now. That's how slow-paced the early game has been for this game 3. They're jockeying for position. Abu Jinging sent down bottom.
I wish I was Doming sometimes. Head of state, founder, and namesake of a whole nation.
Doming Nation.
Doming Nation. Look at that already. Twilight Armors, because they're up against a Leslie for Edward and Wise.
Great way to balance the defense here from then on. Nxpe would really want to have this first Lord on their hands. A reset just happened.
Oh!
They're playing on Edward.
Edward put out about 2/3 of his health. He's going to be okay. Sustain a lot of that. Why? He's going to go for the pull. Oh my Venus, just the same. Brusco, very low. Forced to use the flicker. And the grab. Numenon Blast. Cancelled out. An early called altar. Goyong still alive. Oh, Owl takes to the skies. Yue deals a lot of damage. Taking down Ding. And now Wise got his eyes on Goyong up top. Doming. It's Edward on him. Can Goyong survive? Wise with the taunt! And there's the grab, there's the knockup! Yet he still survives! Edward left to come in! And the pass! But Doming going to finish the job. Trades left and right, bodies at the floor, and all this while Blacklist happy to take this major objective to go for the Lord.
Nxpe was caught with their pants down. The Lord on to Blacklist. Those are not the engagements you want, but we are now at that point where most likely those are the engagements that Nxpe EVOS are gonna get. The window that they've built themselves for early to mid domination, fast scaling has now closed. This time in the game now leans towards Blacklist's lineup.
This is their time now to strike if we were Nxpe, because at some point the setups on how Oh My Venus is dealing with the Shadow Stampede is also a game changer for Blacklist to have or take an advantage of. They haven't got, or Nxpe EVOS haven't got one important member down from those team fights, and that is keeping Wise alive and getting those objectives.
And Francis, that's what makes this such a paradox. It's such a weird situation to see your team down on kills, ahead of major objectives, yet you're rocking a Leslie, a Hayabusa, and a Valentina. You're supposed to be winning these engages. You're supposed to be turning kills into objectives. You're supposed to be converting, but they seem to be taking objectives first.
Yeah. Again, it's one of the traits of Nxpe EVOS that has not gone well for them is that sometimes they're overly cautious. That's what we're getting. But this is a good call by Boya to open up the map this way. And with how it's going, it's not that big a lead for Blacklist, but it's going to be a slightly similar story to game number 1, where you'll just see Nxpe EVOS try to open the map and play guerrilla warfare elsewhere. They need to make the most out of their Leslie, though. There's a lot of damage. If they can get a pick off, start a skirmish that's either 3v3, 4v3 if they can, then back off. Those are their best plays. Full 5v5s, a little bit too difficult.
Oh, Ding comes in, false engage there. 3 members of Nxpe EVOS catch the face full of dawning light. Something else to note, throughout this 12-minute game, Yue has been left untouched. This is something dangerous that Nxpe EVOS should note. Now Edward catches one, there's the knockup. Brusco setting up a Numenon Blast, no one home. The grab, the pass! Ding! Saved by the Cult Altar. Owl Airlines is taken off. And here's the Cult Altar of their own, Blacks International, another dawning light coming in from Yue.
That was a complete setup from Nxpe Evos, and Yue, or Brusco rather, had the flicker to advance that Numenon Blast.
Yeah, he didn't commit it. He didn't know if the other members of Blacklist would be within range. There's the high booster going. Just sent them back. Look at that dawning light.
Half HP. Ow.
Oh my goodness.
And that last shadow was where Boyet went, and that's where Yue threw it too.
Yeah.
Talking about anticipation.
He knew.
Lined him up.
Lined it up perfectly. Who's going to get this purple buff? Boyet will need it for his Haya.
Grand Theft Purple, the attempt,
Gets
and...
Oh, he goes to Wise.
Successful!
Successful
Right in their
GTP.
face.
Oh no, this is not looking good, man. For this side of Nxpe Evos on having the advantage in this point, they're hesitating again.
Wise is guilty. 1 count of GTP.
Oh no.
We're also seeing though one of the hopes for Nxpe Evos is the timing of Brusco's bulwarks have actually nullified a good amount of damage that Owl could have potentially brought out. So there's that assignment kicked in. But again, this is, we mentioned it earlier, this is the window of Blacklist that they will shine in, and that it will be difficult for Nxpe Evos to fight around. It will take an incredibly smart initiation or counterpunch.
Boyet forced to use
Flicker.
the shadow kill, but then they get caught out. There's a stun, saving him for just a while longer. But down goes Goyong. He gets taken down, ran through, trampled by Blacks International. Check bottom though. Doming. Is he going to get caught out by Agent Zero? The answer is no. He gets away with it. But all this while, Nxpe Evos have been delaying the inevitable. Blacks have had their eyes on this Luminous Lord. About 2 minutes since.
Was that worth it? I mean, that was a good setup that Doming or Brusco is aiming for, and they have a different plan.
We'll find out if Blacklist gets this Lord. We'll find out mere moments away. Brusco gets boxed out of this major objective. Again, the dawning lights alone are enough to throw off Nxpe Evos. Blacklist scores a Luminous.
In their time, in their window, Blacklist comfortable. We were talking about how that Savior could be just eating up a lot of damage from Nxpe Evos early on, but because Nxpe couldn't find Yue and deliver early kills onto him, Yue is happy right now with how things are going for Blacklist, freely tossing out Dawning Lights and Mystic Fields.
Man, Mr. Consistent, no deaths. 2-0-4 Yue on the Savior, rocking with a new skin. Now Ultimate Snipe, trying to get vision, not enough for the damage.
2,400 gold difference between Edward and Ding. Ding has had a difficult time this game, and Blacklist even very familiar with where Boyd will want to position himself.
Dude.
Had to sidestep that.
Yue on the total damage, ranking 1.
I get now the comparison between Yue and Haji. Haji plays the Savior very similarly.
Yeah.
He knows exactly where to throw the ult. Now bottom. This is dangerous. Nxpe Evos still have the Lord. Oh, it's gonna just barely miss the crash into that lower half, the bottom lane inhibitor. Here comes a shadow kill coming in from Boya, trying to save this tier 2 in mid. No dice. And just like that, Blacklist still marching on through. The Mystic Field stops Boyet from coming in through. Brusco gets caught out. Blacklist slowly but surely, methodically pushing in.
Brusco can find an angle more and more so as Blacklist covers a lot of entrances from their base. Oh! Did he steal?
Oh,
no!
Stolen again!
Right in the face of Boyet.
Good news, bad news. He didn't die, but also he did get a buff.
Oh, Boyet. Difficult time. I mean, this is what we expected of this matchup. Already a fleeting time has been built for Oh My Venus, so even faster access to the Cult Altar for Blacklist International. All across the board. The shining hope for Nxpe Evos is that Doming is farmed up, but Boyd might get caught here.
That interaction once more. Wise coming in, forces it through. Shadow saving Boyet. That Dawning Light
blinds you and damage you and pushes you back to the base. Brusco, on the other hand, he needs a good access and angle, but he doesn't have the immortality yet. Could be shrink down on half HP, but if he makes it work with no hesitations, just like what he can do right now, that could work. And Black is on the almost 5.6k.
Conceal play. They're trying to find an angle. Ding with the final slash. Catch a face full of crossbows from Owl. And there's a flicker spent in by Goyong. A Dawning Light taking them down to about half health. There's a Numenon Blast, stunning Wise, forcing out a Cult Altar from the Queen as they back out. That was a valiant effort, a good show of force.
Okay, trying to find new avenues to take it, but that was Wise only caught by the Numenon Blast. But the damage needs to count for. In those kinds of teams and opportunities, you need to go all in.
Nice play, Evos. Prime position here for Boyet, who finally gets his purple buff to steal the Lord. Can they go Blacklist with a massive lead?
They conceal from the back. They find an angle, and now it's pandemonium. Yue left to go ahead and get free hits, but all this while it was Owl. Target acquired. Brusco's still alive. Then now Edward gets the grab right in their face. Yue, it's his turn to go down. Gonna catch a few beads. One more, and they're short. Oh, this time Boyet was working on the Lord.
What?
Ding gets a kill. Domin gets a kill. Oh my V gonna fall, get his immortality pop. Edward gets three in the middle and get his immortality pop. It's his turn. Bruce is gonna take down the Queen. She falls as well. Oh my Wamo. Shinderu. Boyet.
Wipeout. Secured. Passive for the Faramis. Fast respawn. Next play gets the Lord. The Hail Mary conceal play despite Blacklist in good position and with a 5k gold lead. Next play have found a way. They have found the way. Bad boy Boyet is now ranked first in total Lord kills with 41. And then Nxpe. Can they actually do it? Can they actually win this?
Triple B, Bad boy Boyet. Oh, 4-man defense still.
This Evolved Lord gonna crash on through, taking down bottom lane inhibitor. Next play Evo's 4 members are here. 4 as well from Blacklist. Respect the damage that Next Play Evos can output. There's a Dawning Light clearing the wave. This is a clear side. Next Play Evos, get out of there. Dominic takes down Wise, forcing out a Cult Altar. Oh, the wave is clear. The Lord is taken down. Blacklist still breathing. Next Play Evos, respecting that fact. They get out of their base.
And just as that, the tables have turned to the Neon Tigers to strike back. 2k gold lead, and they pushed Blacklist in their own base and got nowhere to go, and minions pushing in all top 3 lanes.
They're still in control here. Can they? Will they?
Oh, they're down a man. The King not here, not present to defend. Oh, and that's just a lot of damage staying in. The Numenon Blast catches the ball down, goes Owl, and the base is up next. Next play, Evos close out their season with a victory.
Evolution is a mystery. Line in the sand drawn. They end a heartbreaking season with an unforgettable victory. A reverse sweep against Blacklist International. And Nxpe wins 2-1 from out of nowhere. Neon Tiger striking like a viper.
And even on their last roar, smiling up, head up high, remembering where they came from, and remembering that mentality, the confidence and the courage to not back down. And they just disrupted the code today.
Just to put this into context, ladies and gentlemen, this is a rookie lineup coming in to close off their season by defeating the defending champions.
That's a moment for them. Our defending champions, though, will take the bow. A valiant effort by them. They were in control. They dominated game 1. They bounced back well from a dominating Nxpe performance in game 2 to take control of game number 3. But out of nowhere, just like that, they were caught off guard with brilliant play, a concealed engagement in the Lord from Next Play.
And they had all the reasons to be doubted. I as well have to admit,
Count me in.
I put quite a bit on Boyet for picking the Hayabusa into the Fredrin. Yeah. The 1-1 being given to Owl here, I could have sworn right then and there, yo, that should be a sign. But they played right through it. The fact that Yue were throwing out these dawning lights, again, on, as you mentioned, Francis, the Jujutsu Kaisen skin was something else, right?
Amazing.
If not only visually, but even mentally, there has to be some effect there. But just like that, Shooting Gallery is loving it. They are here for Next Play Evos.
We have to point out here, again, we mentioned earlier how in the early to mid game, that window for Next Play Evos, let's say they made 70% of it. But for the 30% that could have been an even bigger lead for Nxpe EVOS, they didn't. They hesitated, they overthought if they should engage or not, which opened up blacklist timers in the mid-game when they can roam as 5, and that it's so difficult for Nxpe EVOS to contest the major objectives. But then in the end, the very end, where we feel like, where blacklist was in the lead, that's when Nxpe EVOS finally decided, hey, I think we should do this. And it worked out for them somehow.
We've seen hesitations heading into the mid-game, and most of the time, it's Brusco missing the points that, oh, they're all here.
Yeah.
And to the last point, maybe somebody in the comm scream like, hey, stop doing this and start not messing things up and go for everything that you can. And that worked.
Yeah, let's just do this. Just do it. And they did.
Not overthinking anything. Just go straight and just do you and work well for Nxpe EVOS.
They made, as the great Lin-Manuel Miranda wrote, they took their shot. And that's all you need sometimes. They were hesitant, again, as we mentioned, all throughout. For a majority, I have to admit, for a majority of this, 20-minute game? 20-something like that? They were messy. But again, I think it's that fact that made this win all the more possible. Because, again, as Blacklist, again, you were calling the shots. You were dictating the pace all throughout. Who are you to say, yo, are they going to do this? It looks like they are, and too late. At some point, it was just too late.
Yeah, there was something about how that concealed play went that it felt like Blacklist didn't see that until the very last moment. Because they popped the conceal in the shrub closer to the purple buff of Nxpe EVOS, but then you saw, even though Brusco was right beside the other members of Blacklist still in conceal, Blacklist were still there just like poking the Lord, like, oh, where are they? Oh, he's right here! It feels like that. That's what happened.
Mayday!
They're right here!
And how do you manage to pull that off if you're looking for vision? But right now, hats off for Nxpe EVOS, Natsuko and Mara Aquino with their winning moment on stage.
Nxpe EVOS ended the regular season on a great note. Your last game. Congratulations for this win. Na-reverse sweep nyo ang ating defending champs. Not only that, na 17-1 nyo pa. How is this experience for you? At anong napatunayan nyo with this last series? What do you think?
Sobrang saya po namin kasi, ayun nga po, na 17-1 namin sila kasi nalalaro na namin yung laro namin, na-pick namin yung hero nila na di talaga namin napipick. Kasi syempre, pressure din po talaga as a player. Kaya yun, parang itong laro po na to, yun, nababalik namin yung laro namin kung ano yung laro talaga namin. Kasi wala na rin po pressure syempre. Tsaka yung tiwala na lang din po namin sa sarili namin kahit hindi naman namin na-practice. Yun, nilaro na lang po namin kung ano yung nilalaro talaga namin. Kaya siguro gumana ng ganun.
Okay, Bad Boy Boyan, ano ba dapat na-expect namin sa'yo for next season?
Abangan nyo mas matindi kami next season. Ngayon wala pasensya na lang muna.
Mas matindi next season? Ikaw, sayang 17-0 sana. Ba't ka kasi nagpakamatay
Nasisip ko na lang po tower lock na kasi para manalo baka matalo pa makambak. Kaya tinutori ko na kahit wala akong damage.
Kaya to make sure, pero oh my gosh, konting seconds na lang. Perfect na sana, but job well done. And hey, you were able to use your Selena. People don't know top 1 siya, top 1 sa Philippines. How is it like nagamit mo yung comfort hero mo finally for the last game?
Masaya kasi nung sa amateur scene namin parang yun yung madalas kong gamitin. Tapos sa MPL, since nawala siya sa meta, parang naisip ko na hindi na muna siya i-spam. Tapos ngayon, nabalik ko to sa MPL para nanalo pa kami.
And very effective.
Yun, very
Something talaga that to watch out for next season. And Banoobs, you know, all eyes were on this team coming into MPL. It was a roller coaster ride. Pero you guys ended it with a bang. What can you say about your Season 11 experience? And what do you have to say to all the supporters talaga nagtitiwala sa inyo?
Actually, una, gusto ko pong pasalamatan sa lahat ng tumanggap sa team namin. Thank you po. Sa mga nagtiwala, sa Amphers, thank you so much. Sa Skygo, sobrang dami naming na-experience dito na di mo may expect na makakaabot kami ng kahit ganito. Kahit na nalaglag kami, at least Blacklist is our inspiration. Sinabi ko naman yan noong una. Tapos, kami na nakapalag, nanalo eventually. sobrang laking bagay na statement para sa amin po yun. Thank you po.
And this is just the start para sa journey nyo to greatness. Congratulations once again.
Season 12, all out kami talaga.
All out for Season 12. Congratulations once again. Nxpe Evos. You may now take your bow and take your last walk of victory. Yan ang pangako ng Nxpe Evos na Season 12. Talagang mas itataas pa nila ang kanilang lakas, and they're really happy how they ended their final match on such a great note, reverse sweeping the defending champs. Hihimayin natin ang laban na yan, kaya babalikan na natin ang ating casters. Pasok.
That's one way of waking up from a nightmare throughout the regular season. Nxpe Evos, where was this? Throughout the weeks, we were waiting for them to rise up and wake up, and from this moment on, no more hesitations, taking the chance, and that's how you make a dent and end with a bang.
With this last game by Nxpe Evos, I am definitely looking forward to their comeback in Season 12. But for now, GG well played, and thank you.
Man, I am still lost for words on how that match went. But Renmar, I know you have more to say about this. How did things go for Nxpe Evos? Go ahead and break things down for us.
All right. A big gambit that Nxpe Evos did here. Of course, we know 1-1 how feared she is all throughout MPL Philippines Season 11. So they decided to draft heroes and a lineup that isn't a direct answer to the 1-1, but something theoretically could disrupt the 1-1 in the early game. Of course, the Leslie 1-1 matchup. Kudos here to Domeng for playing that incredibly well and maximizing the poke damage that he could dish out onto the 1-1 before Al could even like set him up for the marks and to maybe even get be on the receiving end of a crossbow of Tang. They also drafted the Lolita so that they have someone on their lineup who could potentially block the damage from Al, which again, it came up a lot. But even though this was a lineup designed to reduce the effectiveness of the 1-1, the question was if Nxpe Evos would be able to execute it in the early game, which the answer is, for now, no, they were not able to completely. Again, early game, they did pressure Al. But in the third turtle of the game, Nxpe Evos didn't commit the top gank onto Owl and Oh My Venus. At that point of the game, they were already pushing towards the second tower up top in the lane of Owl, who was still trying to catch up on the farm. But because they were overthinking, it looks like they were very cautious around the Faramis, around the savior, rather, of Yue, plus knowing that Edward and Wise could potentially catch up. But even though at that moment they knew Edward and Wise were at the third turtle, that was the last bit of information they got. So even though they had all the information they needed to gank top lane to solidify their early game victory, even though they weren't getting turtles because their condition is to stop Owl and delay him and open up the map, at least the gold lane with 2 turrets down, it became Blacklist window. And Blacklist windows, Blacklist timers for the Lord fights. Now, this increased the pressure onto Domeng on this Leslie, who ended the game 6-0-1. Because as we saw, the moment he got his hands there on the Berserker's Fury, and because of how Leslie works with her true damage being able dished out, as long as she gets her enhanced basic attack up, her damage after the first item is already great, and it's a cooldown reduction focused Leslie as well, really maximizing, utilizing the first skill, basic attack. Once it's off, cooldown again, first skill, basic attack, because it really, really hurts, even giving Edward and Wise a bit of problems there when they couldn't take Domeng down. And because of how Blacklist International capitalized on Nxpe's early to mid-game hesitations, well, we saw them in control for most of the game. The hesitations by Nxpe onto the gold lane of Al meant that they weren't also able to take down Yue, hence why the Dawning Lights were the problem for Nxpe. No business for Boyet to do what he did in the capacity that he did. As Leo told me behind the scenes here, on that Hayabusa going up against a Fredder. Now in this crucial Lord fight, this was the beautiful concealed play. They were able to get Al down just in time. Wise was brought down low. They had to readjust their positioning, although he was still close enough to go for the retribution. But with what Brusco and Ding were doing to send Wise back, Blacklist were sent back by Nxpe. Nxpe continued the streak of kills, and then they secured the Lord, and then eventually they'd win out of this sequence. Nxpe EVOS didn't make the most out of their early to mid-game condition, but they made up for it with a Hail Mary conceal play wherein, just like in Game 2, where it felt like everything was just clicking for Nxpe,